Have you ever wondered why most people believe they hate sales? Have you ever wondered why most people believe they don't like salespeople? I believe it's because people don't like to feel pressured. So today in this video, I'm going to talk to you about low pressure selling. In fact, I'm going to talk to you about low pressure, high ticket selling. I'm going to talk to you about how we have been able to close hundreds and hundreds of people on our $55,000 offer, hundreds of people on our $155,000 offer, hundreds of people on our $27,000 offer, literally dozens and dozens and dozens of people on our $375,000 offer. I'm going to talk to you about how we've been able to do that. No pressure. Like, I don't mean, like when I say low pressure, I mean low as in the point of no. Now, wouldn't you like selling better if somebody was selling something to you and they applied no pressure? They didn't try to talk you into it. They didn't try to coerce you or lock you in a room and I'm not letting you leave until you sign the paper, right? That's how it feels sometimes. It feels very adversarial, very confrontational. You're going to buy. Oh, no, I'm not yet sure. Okay. What if you could sell without any of that? And I've heard people say, which I totally disagree with, oh, people love to buy, but they hate to be sold. That saying doesn't even make any sense. People love to buy and they love to be sold, but they hate to be convinced. And by the way, convincing is what people resort to when they're bad at selling. High pressure is what people resort to when they're bad at selling. In fact, people love to buy and they love to be sold. I believe that with every fiber of my being, because here's the reality. Everything you've ever bought, somebody sold it to you. They just made you think it was your idea. The best salespeople in the world do what I call seamless selling. They sell you so masterfully that you think you were born wanting to use an iPhone. Yeah, that's what I said. Or driving the brand of car that you drive, whatever that brand is. Child, please. You weren't born wanting any of this stuff. The reason you bought it is because somebody sold it to you. Now, maybe there was a space of time between the time they sold it to you and the time you bought it, but they still sold it to you. Now, I want to talk to you about low pressure sales because I think it'll do a couple of things. One, maybe for some of you, it'll cause you to have a desire to step into one of the most noble, honorable, and high-paying professions that exist on planet Earth, and that is the profession of selling. I love selling stuff, but I hate convincing people to buy. I hate it. It feels yucky to me, and it feels yucky to them, and it makes both of us feel yucky when we're done. And so I don't have any desire to talk anybody into anything. In fact, I would rather talk you out of buying from me than talk you into buying from me. And I know that sounds like, oh, Myron, that's just reverse psychology. No, not any reverse psychology. That's just, Myron, I'm not that interested. If what I have to offer you is good and you don't recognize it, hey, I don't lose. You lose. I'm not going to coerce you. I'm just not doing it. So I'm going to make several assertions here today that I think will really help you get better at low pressure selling. I've sold like my VIP day, which started at 200,000 a couple of years ago, and now it's 375,000. I've sold over 40 of those in the last 4 years since 2022. No high pressure. None. Zero. Zilch. No high pressure. I'm talking to anybody. Don't buy it. Buy it or don't buy it. So, what are some beliefs that we have to have in order for us to step into this low pressure, high profit selling model? Well, number one is we have to realize that the common denominator of all businesses is sales. All businesses. It is the greatest common denominator of business in the world. And it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, like Dr. Sam's a doctor, he's a medical doctor. And don't you find it fascinating? How many years do you have to go to school to become a medical doctor, Doc? Too many. But 12? 8?
After college?
College. You got to go to college first, so that's included. So college, and then you specialize, then residency, and that's medical school, and 12 years?
12 years.
12 years on the low end. Some people go to school for 18, 22 years to become a doctor. And in all of that time, they teach you nothing about how to get a human body to work on. Is that mind-blowing? They teach you how to work on the human body. Where are these bodies coming from? You go to law school, be a lawyer. They teach you how to practice law. They don't teach you how to get any clients to practice law for. I'm blown away. You spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a degree to learn a profession, and they don't teach you how to get a client, which is the only way you're going to be able to pay off those loans. It's mind-blowing. Selling is the common denominator. You may be a doctor who sells wellness, or a doctor who sells treatment. You may be a lawyer who sells, like, you might be a personal injury attorney, and I can help make sure people pay for what they've done to you. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Or you could have a cleaning business, but you still got to get clients. What's that called? Sales. You have a car dealership. What do you got to do? You got to get sales. It literally doesn't matter. Is that my? No, that's not my phone. Okay, better not be my phone. Okay, so how do you? Well, first of all, you recognize that selling is the common denominator of business. So here's what that means. If you think you want to be a business owner and you don't want to learn how to sell, you are only deceiving yourself. I hate sales. Good, then you hate business. And you certainly hate profits. And you're not going to make any. So maybe what you ought to do is you ought to realize that since selling is the common denominator, maybe it would be a good idea to figure out how to get good at it. And it doesn't matter if you sell financial services, if you sell health, if you sell wellness, if you sell relationships, better relationships, whatever. Get good at selling. Okay? Common denominator. The second thing is we need to realize that the conflict of discerning the determining factor of whether somebody says yes or no to your offer. The conflict comes from a place of scarcity. When you are in an adversarial selling conversation, which is really a confrontation with a customer because you want them to buy and they don't want to buy, it's because you are coming from a place of scarcity and your commission breath does not smell good to them. What does commission breath mean? It means they can smell that you want to make a sale. So I'm going to tell you something very counterintuitive. This will help you get better at sales. This is one of the things. There are many things because this is like a mastery stack, right? Remember, I did the juggling thing. So you have to master one component at a time. Then you have to master another component. You stack those masteries on top of each other. Okay, so you have to operate from a place of scarcity. From a place of abundance and not a place of scarcity. If I'm operating from a place of scarcity, then I want you to buy so I can make some money. So who am I thinking about? I'm thinking about myself. And if I'm thinking about me while I'm talking to you, you just don't like me that much. So I gotta be thinking about you. And when I'm thinking about you, when I'm selling to you and I'm thinking about you, here's what I'm thinking. What I have is either good for you and you know it, or it's good for you and you don't know it, or it's not good for you and you know it, or it's not good for you and you don't know it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you be the arbiter. I'm going to let you be the one that determines whether or not my offer is good for you. Because I'm going to treat you with enough respect to believe that you're smart enough to know if this offer is for you or not. And I'm going to, how do I treat you like you're smart enough to know? I'm not going to talk you into it. In fact, I've had people say to me, well, Myron, I'm considering your coaching program and I'm considering somebody else's coaching program. How do I know which one to join? Oh, I said, that's easy. Join theirs. That's the easiest question in the world. Yeah, just go join theirs. But why would you say that? Well, because you're not sure. Like, I only want people to buy from me who are sure that my solution is the best solution for them. If it's not, why would I want you to buy it? Oh, because I want your money? I don't want your money. Your money, like, when you have something good that really transforms somebody's life, they get way more out of it than you do. If they don't, the offer's too expensive or the transformation's too small. I think about Richmond. He joined my coaching program, my $375,000 program in March of last year. So his year's coming up next month. The year before that, he made, I don't know, a few $1 million, probably 3. Last year, he made 10. I got $375,000. He got an extra $7 million. Who won? I knew it was good for him when he was kind of doubting it, but wasn't doubting it so much that he didn't want to take advantage of it. So he's smart enough to say yes. It changed his life. And I'm not saying that because everybody who pays me $375,000 is going to make $10 million. That's not what I'm saying at all. Well, all I'm saying is when you do a good job and you have a transformation that is measurable, desirable, believable, and stateable, and actionable, the person you're selling to wins bigger than you, or you've taken advantage of them.
That's right.
Is what I'm saying making sense? So when you operate from a place of abundance, now I don't need to talk you into it. Why? Buy it or don't buy it. Like, I'm good. I don't need to make a sale. You say, Myron, but what about when you did need to make a sale? Okay. I was always aware, when I started getting good, now when I was not good at sales, I had commission breath and I was hoping to make a sale because I wanted to win contests in my sales organization and I wanted to get plaques and I wanted to get recognized as being a guy who could sell and I wanted to make the money from the sales. That's what I wanted, right? For me. But it doesn't matter that I wanted that for me because the people I'm talking to don't care about what I get out of the deal. It doesn't work like that. So what we have to do is we have to recognize that I have to be thinking about you. I have to be obsessed with you. I have to be obsessed with your problem and how I can solve your problem, or it's not a good idea for you to say yes to my offer. So don't come from a place of scarcity. Now, how do you not come from a place of scarcity when, but Myron, I need to make some sales because if I don't, I'm not going to make any money. How do I not come from a place of scarcity? By recognizing that there are already, everybody say already. There are already thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people in the world who would love to buy what you'd love to sell if they only knew you existed.
That's right.
And once you realize that, then you can take the next step, which is stop trying to find people to sell your stuff to. But make yourself more findable for people who are already looking to buy what you're already looking to sell. Here's what's really cool. I can go through a large number of people by talking to a bunch of people, or I can create some content that serves a large audience of people, place that on a platform that has millions or hundreds of millions of people, and let the algorithm send that content to the people that I created it for. You know what I discovered? Here's what I discovered. Now, I don't know how they figured this out, but they did. YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and X and Threads are all better at finding clients for me than I am. They're better at it. So, since I realized that, I just make sure I give them enough content, community service content. I don't call it free content because it's not free. It's not free for me to create it. Y'all see all this equipment? This ain't free. It ain't free content, right? Could y'all be doing something else with your time? Yes. Could those of you who are out there in the YouTube sphere, could you be doing something else with your time? Yes. Well, guess what? It ain't free for you either. You got to pay with your attention.
That's right. That's right.
And since it's not free content, I have to give it a name. What's the name? Community service content. It's the content that I create that serves the community. Now, I have a rule. You don't have to abide by this rule, but I abide by this rule. Here's my rule. I never put any community service content in the world that I could not have sold and made money. If I can't sell it, it's not worth giving away. And too many people are walking around with this anxiety all up in here. But what if I give it away? I won't have anything to sell. And what am I going to sell if I give it away? And here's why you're worried about that. Because your well doesn't run deep enough. If you're worried about running out of content, maybe you should not be teaching in that space in the first place. Maybe. Y'all tracking?
Yes.
So the conflict of discerning the determining factor when you have this, I gotta make a sale, I gotta make a sale, I gotta make a sale, it comes from scarcity. There's no scarcity in the world. Scarcity exists in us, and then we experience it in the world. But I shouldn't say there's no scarcity in the world. Scarcity doesn't have any power over you except the power that you give it by focusing on it. Okay? Okay. And I don't have time to prove that right now, so I know some of you are going to disagree. Okay, great. We're going to agree to disagree. The confidence of disciplined selling is divorcing yourself from the sale. Divorce your desire for them to say yes. Divorce yourself from your desire for them to say yes. Now, I'm going to teach you something here. And this changed my life in selling. You ready? The best way to get the most people to buy at the highest possible prices is to create an environment that makes them feel like buying. It's not by giving them enough information so they can make an intelligent decision. People don't make intelligent decisions to buy. They make emotional decisions to buy and then justify those emotional decisions with intelligence. Let's don't be confused about it. Okay. So you have to create an environment that makes them feel like buying. Now the question becomes, how do you create an environment that makes them feel like buying? Is that the question? Okay. Now it's going to sound so counterintuitive because it's like golf. Selling is like golf. It's a game of opposites. You want the ball to go in the air, you have to hit down on the ball. You want the ball to turn left, you have to swing out to the right. You want the ball to turn right, you got to swing out to the left. I don't know. It's just life. It's very counterintuitive. Selling is like that. So here's the best way to create an environment that makes people feel like selling. This is the first. If you don't get this one right, it doesn't matter if you get the rest of them right. You ready? You have to, in your energy, let them know that you don't care if they buy. You have to let them feel, you have to make them feel like whether or not they buy from you is of no consequence to you. Buy it or don't buy it, baby. Now you don't say, buy it or don't buy it, baby. Like, do I look like I can? You don't say that with your words. But you definitely say that with your energy. Why? Well, because you can lie with your words, but your energy always tells the truth. And so, how can you be divorced from your desire for them to say yes if selling is what you do for a living? How can I do that, Myron? Here's how. By understanding, number one, that there are already millions of people out there who want to buy what I want to sell, if they only knew I existed. Number two, if I go through enough of those people, some of them are going to say yes. So, yeah, I need to make a sale, but it don't need to be you. Yeah, I gotta make sales to stay in business, but you ain't got to buy. Like, I promise you, when I was asleep last night, people were buying stuff from me. You say, how do I know that? Because every night while I'm asleep, people buy stuff from me. Every night, I'm asleep. I'm so asleep, I'm dreaming I'm asleep. And people still buying stuff from me. Okay. So understand, abandon scarcity. Okay. Number 4. The consultant salesperson will always dominate the confrontational salesperson or the commanding salesperson. Always. What does that mean? Oh no, here's another reason you gotta buy. Here's another reason you gotta buy. No, you gotta put more pressure on them. No, you gotta put more pressure. This is what sales trainers do. I'm like, that is dumb as a box of rocks. I know there are sales trainers who will disagree with me. They've been wrong before, and we're gonna let them stay wrong on that one too. Yeah, you're just gonna stay here until you buy it. I'm leaving now.
How about that?
Bruh. Okay. Here's what you do. You consult. So, what exactly are you having challenges with? Oh, and if you didn't have that challenge, what would that do for you? And once you had that done for you, how would that make you feel? And once you felt that way, how would you look at yourself differently? And once you started looking at yourself differently, how would the people in your family look at you differently? How would your friends look at you differently? Would the people who hate you be envious and hate you even more? Do you understand what I'm saying? And so what you're doing is you're asking questions. Here's why. Because questions are the answer. And if you ask enough questions when you're selling anything, the person you're selling to If they are a buyer, if they are a potential buyer and your solution will fix their problem and they can discover that in your conversation, they will tell you enough for you to give them the exact information that you need in order for them to say yes. The consultant salesperson. In other words, can you imagine? Okay, let me see. You go to a dentist, you walk in the office, you fill out the paperwork, the dentist comes out and says, hello, we've decided that you need a root canal. They haven't even looked at you yet. They haven't examined your teeth, they haven't taken any x-rays. In fact, you need 4 root canals. What would you say? You'd run out of the office so fast. Or let's say you go to a medical doctor. He says, oh my goodness, you desperately need open heart surgery. But wait, we haven't done an examination yet. What are we doing? What are we doing? You would think that person's crazy. But that's how salespeople have been taught to sell their whole lives. You need this thing. Why? Because this is what I sell. Why else would you need it? That's insanity. This is what you need to buy because this is what I sell. In any other arena, that's insane. You take your car to the mechanic. You drive your car in because the tires are low. Mechanic looks at your car, says, wow, you need a new engine. You wouldn't buy a new engine from that person. You wouldn't buy anything from that person. You wouldn't even let them put air in your tire. Why? Because selling works best when it's consultative, not when it's commanding. Is what I'm saying making sense? Yes. Okay. See, people think that selling is convincing. In fact, never again, if you're in sales, don't you let me catch you using the word convince as a synonym for selling. Because selling is not convincing. Selling is persuasion, and persuasion is the opposite of convincing. Convincing is when I attempt to get you to do something I desire you to do for my reasons. So who am I thinking about? I'm thinking about me. Persuasion is when I help you make a decision you already desire to make for your own reasons. Like I'm going to Southern California this year, March 13th and 14th, 2026. I'm doing a live event called Content and Cash Flow. Guess what I know about the people who come to that? And by the way, if you want to get a ticket for it, you can just go to contentandcashflowlive.com. And if you want to get a ticket to that, if people who come to that event, guess what I know about them already? They want to learn about content and they want to learn about cash flow. How do I know? Because they spent money to be in the room. All you got to do sometimes, like the first thing you got to pay is attention. Okay, so let's capitalize on the details of low pressure, high ticket sales. What are the details? How do I do this low pressure, high ticket sales? Okay, you have to answer some questions. Are y'all ready for the question? Say yes? Yes. Okay, here's the question. Question number 1, who are you going to help? This is the question that most new entrepreneurs avoid the most. Because they are under this erroneous belief, my offer's good for everybody. No, it's not. Your offer's not good for everybody. Anything that's good for everybody is also good for nobody. So no, your offer's not good for everybody. So stop it. Just stop it. Or we're going to come get your family and take them to safety. Who are you going to help? And figure it out. Figure out exactly who you're going to help. I help lawyers who are struggling in their law practice, in their independent law practice, to grow that law practice to the point where they've got more business than they can shake a stick at and they have to hire more lawyers. That's what I do, right? Be that specific. Why? Because if you don't, you're just spitting at the moon. You're wasting your time. Okay. Who are you going to help? I'm telling you, this was the biggest one. And here's one of your problems. You on YouTube, out there in the YouTube sphere, and all y'all in this room, here's one of your biggest problems. You want to help the people that need it the most. Guess what I've discovered about the people who need it the most? Usually they're the people who want it the least. So fascinating. I remember back in the days when I was in multi-level marketing, and I talked to my friend about this multi-level marketing, and he was a very dear friend of mine, best friend. He was already a multi-millionaire in the oil business. And I talked to him about this business just because I decided I was going to talk to him about it. And he said yes. Learned something from that, but I didn't. I didn't. I just learned he said yes. And I told my wife, yeah, I just talked to David and he said yes. She's like, wow, he's already rich. Why would you talk to him? Well, here's what I discovered. Rich people are rich because they like to make money. And the more money rich people make, the more rich people want to make money. It's mind-blowing. Broke folks are the ones, nah, man, that's got to be a scam. I'm not. And I just, like, you'd think that right there would have changed my life forever. That happened in the 90s. It wasn't until probably 2017, or maybe, halfway through 2017, when I realized, oh, my biggest problem my whole life is I was selling to poor people because I used to be poor. Solutions that they needed. Instead of selling to rich people, solutions they didn't need but they wanted desperately. Imagine that. Changed my life. Changed my life. You say, Myron, what do you do? Well, I sell high-priced stuff to rich people. Why? It's just easier. It's just way easier. On every front possible, it's easier. Okay. So, you know what I found out? Somebody that's making $30,000 a year, let's say $60,000 a year, doesn't necessarily want to make $3 million. Somebody who's making $1 million wants to make 10. It's mind-blowing. Okay. People who want it the most need it the least. Okay, so who are you going to help? You have to figure out who you're going to help and how you have to figure out who you're going to help. That's number one. And it needs to be somebody probably who doesn't need it. Now, sometimes they could need it. If they're a business owner, business owners are the easiest people to help. Why? Because they have to spend money on their business in order to stay in business. Like, let's say I decide, you know what, I don't like paying mortgages anymore. I ain't paying a mortgage on this building. Eventually, somebody going to foreclose on it. So guess what I did when I bought this building? I set the payment up on auto pay. Say, how much is it? I don't know, $5,000, $5,300, $5,500, $5,700, I don't know, somewhere in there. Why? I haven't thought about the payment on this building since February 2022. The electric bill's on auto pay, the water bill's on auto pay, the internet's on auto pay, the security's on auto pay, Zoom is on auto pay. Why? Because I know they have to be paid. See, most people have to make a decision to buy. Business people don't have to make a decision to buy every time they buy. They just make a decision once and then pay for it. Like, everything I want to buy, everything that I got to buy on the regular, I'd rather have it on auto pay. I don't want to think about it. My credit cards are on auto pay. Everything, auto pay. Why? Because then I don't have to think about it. Okay, so you are tracking. Who am I going to help? Figure that part out. Number two, how are you going to help them? Now, here's the second problem you have. Not only do you want to help people who need it the most, but the people you want to help them the way you want to help them. That's the problem. You need to help them the way they want to be helped. What does that mean? That means you want to fix a problem you know they have instead of fixing the problem they know they have. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I learned this from watching Jesus. What did I watch Jesus do? Jesus always solved the problem they knew they had before he solved the problem he knew they had. But you want to solve the problem you know they have before you solve the problem they know they have, and they don't want your solution to the problem you know they have that they don't yet know they have. You want to fix the problem you know, well, but this is what I know how to do. What does that have to do with anything? Go learn how to do something that's useful to somebody other than you. Go learn how to fix somebody. See, here's how you get really, 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 really rich. You hyper obsess over the problem, a big problem of a large group of people. You find the absolute most efficient, effective, and elegant solution for that problem. And then you tell the world, congratulations, you're a millionaire. But here's your problem. I wrote the book I always wanted to write. Well, nobody wants to read that but you. Your mom doesn't even want to read it. She watched it. She doesn't want to go through that again. I want to tell my story. Nobody cares. I love you, but nobody cares about your story. Nobody cares about my story. You know what they care? They care about how to fix their story. Is what I'm saying making some sense?
Yes.
Okay, so who are you going to help? Number two. How are you going to help them? Number three. Get this one. I've already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Who's looking for whom? Your problem is you're on the hunt. You're looking for people to buy. Oh, got to find me some buyers. I got to find me some buyers. Like, I don't have to find me any buyers. it's business. Business feels so stinking effortless. It's mind-blowing how effortless business feels to me. I'm not looking for anybody to sell anything to. Like when? Ever. I know that sounds like an exaggeration and an overstatement. I promise you it's not. I came to an awareness. There are people out there with problems that are driving them bananas. And they are looking for solutions to that problem all day, every day. And they're going to find somebody. You know who they're going to find? They're going to find the person who's the most findable. So my solution might not even be as good as yours. But if I'm more findable than you, I'm going to make more money than you. That's why there are people out there that you know you're better than who are making way more money than you. They are way more findable than you. There are people who are out there way more findable than me. And I'm looking at them, my solutions are way better than yours. Well, bruh, then you better make yourself more findable. Is what I'm saying making sense? Yes. Okay. By the way, it makes pressure. So, here's what my friend Daniel Priestley says. He's the author of Key Person of Influence, Oversubscribed, 24 Assets, The Entrepreneur Revolution, and his newest book is called Lifestyle Business Playbook. And Daniel says, it's one of my favorite sayings ever. Daniel says, everything in business is downstream from lead generation. How many leads are you generating a month? Right now, we're generating on average about 2,500 leads a month. That means 2,500 people are raising their hand, giving us their name, giving us their phone number, giving us their email, just saying, hey, what do you have for sale? 2,500 people a month. Now, are all those 2,500 people going to buy something? Nope. But if 10% of them buy something, that's 250 people. Hey, if 1% of 2,500 people buy something, that's 25 people who are buying something from me this month. Your problem is you don't have any lead flow. Daniel says everything in business is downstream from lead generation. Would y'all like to know what Myron Golden says?
Yes.
Lead generation is downstream from audience building. What does that mean? That means the bigger I grow my audience, the more leads I generate. And the more leads I generate, the more sales I generate. What does that mean? Audience building is first base. But see, here's your problem. You don't like how you look. So you don't create any content. It's just a very private person. I'm a very private person. Can I keep it real? I don't even know how I look. I just look at how I look. I know I got a big old head though. I know I got a big old head. That's why I only wear fitted hats. If I wear a snapback, like my head starts leaking out of that hole back there. I don't even wear snapback hats. It don't work, right? Hey, I'm okay with that. Some people, my nose is too big. My nose is big. Is it too big? I don't know. It seems to fit my face. I don't know. I don't have time to care. I don't have time. I don't have enough time to be self-conscious to worry about what I think somebody else is going to think about me. Because usually they think it anyway. I'm the only one thinking it. Because somebody in the 3rd grade told me, "Oh, dude, your nose, man. What you doing?" Right? But I'm serious. Somebody made fun of us when we were a kid, and we're walking around with that baggage as an adult. And we got some 2nd grader who's not even in 2nd grade anymore, ruining our life because we don't like how we look. Or we got our 3rd grade teacher who told us we weren't smart, and we believe I don't want to put anything out there. People will know I'm not smart. Well, I'm smart in the areas I'm smart. In the areas I'm not smart, guess what? I'm just not smart. Oh well. If somebody finds out, I guess they're just going to find out. Don't have time to care. Are y'all tracking?
Yes.
See, you got so much self-loathsomeness that you're unwilling to create a solution that could change somebody else's life because you don't like you. Really? Okay. Get over it. Well, I don't want people to judge me because who cares? Let them judge you. They're going to judge you anyway. If they're going to judge you, they're going to judge you anyway. And most of them ain't judging you. You just say it. Okay. So who's looking for whom? Well, in my business, clients are looking for me. I'm not looking for them. I'm just making sure I'm findable. If you really ever let that etch down into the corners of your cerebral cortex, I don't know if cerebral cortexes have corners, but the nooks and crannies of your cerebral cortex, it'll change your life. Okay, now, here's the question. I'm talking about details now of capitalizing on the details of low pressure, high ticket sales. What are you creating? Are you creating supply or are you creating demand? What are you creating? And here's what most business owners do. They know how to do something, so they want to go out into the marketplace and create a supply of that thing. When guess what? Nobody cares. And even if people do care, the people you're talking to don't care. The people who care can't find you. So the people you're talking to don't care. Is what I'm saying helpful, beneficial, a little? Okay. Okay. So here's what you want to do. Create the demand, and the supply will find you. How do you create demand? Community service content. What is community service content? It's content that's helpful, that you could have charged for that you didn't, that shows up everywhere. It's the ability to prove to people that you can help them by actually helping them. You know what I discovered? 1 ounce of proof is worth more than 10,000 pounds of promise. You know why people believe I can help them? Because I already have. Wow. I have people comment on my YouTube video, oh my goodness, I can't believe he teaches me this much stuff for free. If he taught me this much for free, I can't imagine how much he'll teach me if I pay him. Okay. I'm not trying to get people to, but that's what they say. Okay, you are tracking. So, now, here's what you want to do. Now that you understand the framework, consult your prospects on the pain and their pleasure, and then prescribe the prescription. You consult with them on their pain, you consult with them on their pleasure, and then you prescribe the prescription. Before I tell you what the prescription is, let me tell you what the prescription ain't. And I know it isn't. I said ain't on purpose. I know English. I can promulgate esoteric cogitations. Here's what it ain't. The prescription is not the pieces. Look, we've got 16 workbooks, 8 videos, 9 audios, and an assessment. And because you spent so much time, effort, and energy creating those things, that's what you're proud of, so that's what you talk about. Nobody wants your pieces. Nobody. They want to know that the pieces are there. They don't want details on the pieces. Any more than you want to know what the material on the seat on the next flight on the plane on the next flight you're going to take is made of. You don't care. Is it leather or is it imitation leather? Here's the answer. We don't know. No, we don't know. Because they don't tell us. But we don't even care. We don't care enough to ask. Why? Nobody wants to know what the pieces are. How fast will the jet fly? We don't know. Why? We don't ask those questions. They don't want the pieces. What size engine is in this plane? What are we talking about? That's what you sound like. If you're taking people to Hawaii, talk about Hawaii. Okay. They don't want to know the pieces. Please don't show them the process. I watch people do this all the time. They're selling. And so what they want to do, they sell software. So in the sales process, they demonstrate the software. Or they sell, and they're selling a process. They're selling like a solution, and so they want to show you the spreadsheet, or the Trello board, or the Slack channels. When you show somebody your process in selling them, all you're doing is showing them that it's hard. And people don't want to know it's hard. They want to know, is it easy? Does it work? Can I do it? They don't want to know it's hard. Is what I'm saying making sense?
Yeah.
So don't show them the pieces. Don't show them the process. And for crying out loud, unless you want to be a wage slave for the rest of your life, please stop selling your personal time. Well, you get so many hours of my time. They don't want hours of your time. They want hours of their time. Get them their time back. You get so many hours of my time. I have a $55,000 coaching program. You know how many hours of my time that comes with? Like one-on-one personal time? Now we have group coaching. The group coaching transforms people's lives. I mean, like, big time. But I'm not doing one-on-one. There ain't no one-on-one for what? Because when you coach people one-on-one, you're coaching in a vacuum, and it's inefficient for you, and it's ineffective for the people you're coaching. If I'm coaching all the people in this room, and Ryan, how long have you been in business, Ryan?
7 years.
7 years. Ryan, who's been in business 7 years, he asked a question that somebody who's been in business for 3 years would have never thought of. And I answer his question. I'm answering it for him, but I'm also answering it for the person who's only been in business for 3 years. Why would I want to answer that question in a vacuum? And then when I'm coaching the person who's been in the business for only 3 years, I'm coaching them in a vacuum, and then they don't think to ask that question, and I don't think to answer that question because the question never comes up, but it would have helped them greatly. Group coaching is more beneficial to the people you're coaching than one-on-one coaching. So there. So if the prescription is not the pieces, and it's not the process, and it's not personal time, what is the prescription? The prescription is one thing. How many things?
One.
Everybody, how many things? One thing. And here's what it is. The prescription is the payoff. What will they be able to do after your prescription that they could not do before your prescription? Are y'all tracking?
Yes.
Because that is the only thing that has value in your offer. So when I'm selling people the transformation, I'm selling them on the payoff. Okay, great. How do I create a demand for more sales? I'm going to give you some steps to remember. In fact, I'm going to go write them on my trusty digital blackboard. This process will lead to high demand. It can't help but lead to high demand. Now, here's what I have to do. I have to discover underserved, an undervalued, underserved market. I have to discover an underserved, undervalued market. What does that mean? That means I got to find a group of people that are not being served at a high level because no entrepreneur has come along and recognized their problem and valued it enough to solve it. So I'm gonna discover an undervalued, underserved market. Then I'm going to develop a solution. I'm going to develop value for that market, and then I'm going to deploy that value that I've created in the market. So those are the three things. So we've used a word 3 times in this solution for creating demand, and that word is what? Value. I'm going to discover an undervalued market, an underserved market. I'm going to develop value for that market. Then I'm going to serve that market that value. And then guess what? Then I'm going to deploy that value in that market. But the word that we've used is value. So everybody talks about, oh no, you got to sell the value. Nobody tells you what value is or where value comes from. So I'm going to tell you where value comes from. And by the way, you can't uncover value to someone until you uncover what's valuable to that someone, right? In order for me to create value for you, I need to know your values. Does that make sense? So what do people value? Where do those values come from? Okay, so here's where values come from. Values, wow, that was, okay. Values, I think I spelled that right. Did I spell that right?
Yes.
It just doesn't look right. Okay. That's probably how I know it's right. Okay, so values. So values come from, number 1, past perceived voids. When something in our lives feels like it's been missing in the past, we value it in the present. So values come from, like what you value, think about something you've desired your whole life and you don't have yet. The longer you go without that thing, the more you desire it, if it's something that's desirable to you. And every time I think about this, I think about my GTO, right? My 1968 Pontiac GTO convertible. Because my friend Stan, his brother Lonnie, had a GTO when I was in high school, and I wanted to buy it from him, and he wouldn't sell it to me. And I loved that car. It was so cool. And I think his was the 69. It was the Judge. But I've been looking for a 68 Pontiac GTO. I would take 67, 68, 69. Found a 67. Brand new. That car was like $3,300. Brand spanking new in 1968. I bought it in 2023 or 2024. I paid $40,000 for it. What would cause me to pay more than 10 times, about 13 times as much for a car as it was worth when it was brand new? It ain't brand new. I have nice cars. I have cars that when you are in them, they hug you and ask you where you want to go today, baby. I get in this GTO, and I don't know if any of y'all can remember what it was like to drive cars from the 60s. It's like, right? It's wild. I'm like, but I love it. I love this car. I love driving this car. I love pulling up to the gas station with the top down. Cool car, Pops. I'm like, when did I become Pops? That's what I want to know. Okay, cool. So, past perceived voids. But the fact that I couldn't buy that car from Lonnie is what made it so valuable to me that I was willing to pay 13 times more for it. Decades later than it was worth brand new. All right, past perceived voids. What have you been missing in the past? Find a large group of people who've been underserved and undervalued, and create the thing that's been missing for them. That's how you create demand. Actually, the demand is already there. You're just uncovering it. Okay. But we still call it creating demand. Okay. Number 2, present perceived virtues create present perceived values. So past perceived voids create present perceived values, but present perceived virtues create present perceived values. Things that people value in the present cause them to buy. I think about the fact that I value like my health, and I value my fitness and being in shape. I value that greatly. And so last year, I paid $50,000 to one coach, health coach, $6,500 to another, and $6,000 to another for different things I wanted to be coached on. Why? Not to mention thousands of dollars on stem cell injections and just stuff that's going to make me feel better. Why? Because I value those are present perceived virtues to me. Feeling strong, feeling good, being able to do the things I desire to do, being able to get down on the floor and play with my granddaughter and get up off the floor without needing a crane. That's a present perceived virtue. Does that make sense? And then, thirdly, future perceived visions create present pursued values. What does that mean? That means if there's something I desire to do in the future, or something I desire to have in the future, it causes me, that future vision compels me to value the things that will get me closer to that vision now. And so what I'm saying is, when you're creating your offers for people, whether it be for community service content or for the offer that you sell, make sure you're taking these things into consideration more than, well, this is the thing that I invented, so this is the thing I want to sell. Well, this is what I've always wanted to do, so this is what I want to sell. Or I want to tell people my story, so this is what I want to sell. I want to write a book and tell my story. Like, get over that. Do this instead. People will beat the door down to buy from you. Wow. This is how you do low pressure, so-called high ticket sales. Now, why do I say so-called high ticket sales? I don't like the phrase high ticket sales. I use it because people know what I'm talking about. But I don't like the phrase high ticket sales. Why? Because high ticket talks about what I get. And I don't even want me thinking about me at all as I'm creating my offers for my prospects. I only want to think about them. And I know that sounds all noble, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because it works, number one. And number two, I'm put here to serve people. That's why I'm here. I'm here to please God and serve people. Not to please people and serve. Okay, y'all get it. Anyway, so in order for me to create the most value in the transformation in the marketplace I desire to create, I have to have all these things in consideration, and then I have to say, okay, I am going to create an offer that solves these problems for this group of people. If I do that, it will change the game forever for me. So I don't like the phrase high ticket sales. So what do I prefer instead? I prefer premium value offer as opposed to a high ticket offer. Why? Because premium value talks about what the client gets. And if I think about it as a premium value offer, then I can think about it from their perspective instead of high ticket thinking about it from my perspective. You say, Myron, those are just words. Okay, if you think words don't matter, do you boo. But I know words matter. And so therefore, I'm going to use words that work better for me to comprehend what I'm saying, because the better I understand what I'm saying, the easier it is for me to help other people understand what I'm saying. So that's how we going to do this thing. And if you will apply these principles, it will change the game for you when you're selling. Will it take some time? Sure. It'll take some time. I was talking to a friend of mine who's been an entrepreneur since 2019. I was talking to him recently. And he said, starting in 2019, in his particular niche, and I'm not going to mention what it was just because it's not the point. He started doing 3 videos a day, every day, and he did that for a year for his niche, posting it on all the platforms he could find. And here's what he said. In my second year, I made $40 million. I said, how much did you make your first year? He said, nothing, which probably is not nothing, but compared to 40 million, it's probably nothing. Last year, he made 200 million. Why? Because when you realize, as Daniel Priestley says, everything in business is downstream from lead generation. And you realize what Myron Golden says. Lead generation is downstream from audience building. And you start putting out community service content that's valuable and useful and people would have been willing to pay for, but you put it out as community service content, they will find you to buy something from you. And that's how you master low pressure, high ticket sales. Hopefully this is helpful, beneficial to you in ways like that old school sales baloney. You just keep them there until they buy. Stop it. So I hope this helps. Stay blessed by the best. We'll see you on the next video. Deuces.